Dandavat pranam to all devotees. Vanchakalpatarubhishta kripasindhabhya evacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat. What have you been revising or learning today?
Maharaj, we were just talking and I took advantage that Kalachandi came and I asked him, you remember we had that, we had a pending question about cream mixed with salt when
Yes.
when he gave us a lecture about the cooking for Krishna.
Yes.
And so he gave us the information. Of course, it's not milk and salt, but we can have it with cream. We can mix cream and salt or yogurt and salt. And Kelly Kadambanana, she wrote a note here saying that Bhakti Lalita is also very strong on this point, that salt and milk is like eating meat. So we are very clear. We're not going to mix salt and milk, but we can salt cream or yogurt.
Okay. Very good. And Kalachand ji with us. By the way, Kalachandru, have you got a brother who's not initiated?
No.
Oh, okay. Because, I mean, we all have dreams, but I had quite a strong dream that it wasn't you, it was it was your dad, Shruta Shava, Vaishnav Maharaj, but that one of his sons, it was like they're looking for one of his sons who needs initiation. They should come to Goswami Maharaj now. He's giving initiations. It was quite a strong dream. And then
Whoa.
I had to kind of think. And I was also thinking, everyone's initiated, but okay, I'm leaving that with you, with the Kirkman family. That's all I can say.
We just found out that Shugi and Lalita, they're going to have a boy. They just got the sex of the baby, so they're going to have a new son coming soon. It's not Vaishnav Raj's son, grandson.
Grandson.
Maybe you're thinking of him. And then Nilamani's son, Gaurachandra, he'll be another initiate coming up. There's many sons in the pipeline, Mars.
Kirkman Dhara continues.
This gives us evidence that Madhusudana Maharaj does sleep.
Yeah.
Well,
you had a dream.
I'm a dreamer. Maybe I was daydreaming. Anyway, yes, the day goes on. And anyway, it's a relief to hear what you've been talking about, because sometimes we do get very important calls that come in which can't wait, if you like, means from senior section, and things which are disturbing or need to be addressed. And really, I mean, I can just mention, because really it's the basics of our life, and some devotees getting caught up in this whole virus thing. I mean, I don't mean the virus getting the virus, though of course they are, but in like conspiracy theories and all kinds of like spin-off from this, which seems to be in the news. We know it because we're getting the injured devotees. Devotees are becoming some section of devotees becoming very disturbed by the whole thing. But really, it comes back down to our basics of bhakti, which is to not hear the prajalpa, the nonsense of the outside world. I mean, okay, nonsense, whether nonsense or not in the material sense, that's not my judgment. Not to hear all the material topics. Minimum to know that, okay, here in this country, we got the news from yesterday, you have to wear a mask in public. So then we wear the mask in public, whatever it may be. But then to go into all these other things which seem to be the headlines of the news for every day for the last, I don't know how many months, 7 months or something, which is 7 3s are 21, 200 days. So if we are allowing ourselves to chew all of this stuff which is going on, then we're going to be in unfortunate mental position. If we can allow ourselves to chew what Guru Maharaj is telling us, which is that we must see every wave is favorable. The Lord's hand is behind everything. We cannot complain about the environment. That we've come to Kali Yuga, it's an ocean of sin, but we've got such great opportunity. And the basics of our life, which really comes down to the very first verses that we know of, in fact, all the verses, but we need to start with the basics, the first verses of the Upadeshamritam, which not only we keep coming back to, but you see Guru Maharaj and Gurudev keep coming back to. This is quoted, those verses are quoted all over the place, everywhere, in classes, in the books, in all kinds, in the scripture books, as we've been going through the Sharanagati. There you see every verse of Upadeshamritam is coming into the Sharanagati book. Every verse is coming into Prapanajivanamritam. Every verse is there in so many places. So anyway, I'm happy you've been talking about yogurt and milk. What? Yogurt, milk, and chilies, was it?
Salt.
And by the way, I have had chilies in quite a few places in the world, including Bengal. But right here in Italy at Villa Govinda, they have these small chilies. Don't underestimate them. I really think they're the hottest chilies I've taken anywhere. Like, very hot. And we are happy to munch on a chili. And even when I mention the word chili, my saliva glands start going. Prasadam chili, of course. What chili that's come from Krishna's plate. But so you've been talking about other things than the worldly katha. But just on this point, because it's just fresh from like serious conversations just now, that really, these instructions that are given to us, they're for our benefit. They are to get us to keep ourselves from damaging our faith, damaging our journey home, our Bhakti Lata Kripa, to keep ourselves from disturbance. In that second verse, the word is vinashyati, which means destroy. So we have to be careful to maintain what we have and build on it in our devotional life and avoid the things which vinashyati will destroy our devotional service. It's not only, it's going to be, a bad idea for half an hour. Your mind's going to be in the wrong place for half an hour after you start hearing them. No, we start feeding ourselves with those things. It's very difficult. Not only difficult, it's already told. It's going to destroy our devotional service. So, just fresh from those things, I can say the basics of devotional life we have to follow. Not just the week we join or the Bhakti course that we go on when we first joined in ISKCON in the Bhakti course, but that course is there for our whole life. The instruction is there for our whole life. And only as much as we need to know, then we'll get from the newspaper or whatever. And believe me, there are plenty of people around us who are going to give us whatever news we need to know without us going through it. And in Dum Dum Park, with one of our senior devotees, really one of our senior devotees, Gurudev reading the newspaper, and the senior devotee wanting to also to read the news, starting then the devotee reading the newspaper. And then Gurudev positively saying, why are you reading the newspaper? And then that devotee said, Guru Maharaj is reading the newspaper. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj, kind of affectionately, but strongly, when Gurudev is, Srila Govinda Maharaj, when he's saying something and he's giving you a chastisement, he's saying, but you are not Guru Maharaj. And that senior devotee put down the paper, I'm not Guru Maharaj. And you see, perhaps it was Gurudev, but certainly it's Gurudev who told us is that when, certainly he commented, and he may have been quoting another one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers, actually. Sorry, I'm not accurate with this, but saying that when Guru Maharaj was reading the newspaper, it was the same as him reading the Vedas.
Madhava Maharaj.
Madhava Maharaj. You know, that was on the, you may have seen the M taking shape from my mouth. It was on the tip of my tongue, but I don't like to say something when I'm not 100% sure. So I shouldn't say much, should I? But, you know, these things we have to take into consideration, just like sadhana and everything we do. We have to try to do these things properly. And we read, I suppose, from 3 or 4 books throughout our daily program here, but we were reading from, I think it was Gurudev or Guru Maharaj, but saying how sadhana is the way that we develop our faith and the way that we develop the qualities which allow us to continue in our devotional life. So we mustn't omit these things from our life, our sadhana, our daily practices. So we're fortunate always to be with devotees, to be with you, and to be able to, keep ourselves one by one in some strength. And it is certainly Srila Prabhupada's example that he gives in the books, that one stick easily can be broken, but you put a bunch of sticks together and there is some strength. And it's one example to help us to see how when we are devotees going along together, we've got some strength with each other. But one stick together. We are the Jiva soul, we are known as Lagu. Lagu, we are easily persuaded. The wind blows this way, we've gone this way. The wind blows this way, we've gone this way. But we need to stay together and keep our focus on the journey, the right direction. And we are susceptible. Otherwise, why is advertising such a huge industry? We are very light. Everybody can be influenced. So let our influence be to Rupa Goswami, to Mahaprabhu. Let our influence be to the land of love. And when we see injured devotees, really, who they've been practicing for several years and now getting caught up, again and again it's coming up, so it's not just, one devotee is now, in a very odd frame of mind, but again and again it's coming up over these months, and recently seems to be coming up a lot. So, because it's topical, it is maybe good to also emphasize these things for ourselves, for our own safety. And the other thing, try not to allow any criticism, even to hear criticism of others. Okay, 1 sentence, 2 sentences, somebody's got something to say, but quickly we have to make our own position clear that you have these opinions. I don't want to hear criticism of other devotees, because it is also very damaging for ourselves. We want to only, as we always say, we want to only see the devotee side of others. And another thing is, we know there are some devotees whose nature is, to discuss about other devotees, if you like, but we maybe cannot change their nature. And we know that they are doing that with others, but when they are trying to express to ourselves, there are devotees who really, they know it's a waste of time to talk to me, because I'm just going to, say after like 1 sentence or 2 sentences, yes, you have your opinion, but please don't tell me. And then, what do I got to say then? So, we can't change others, but we have to think of what is the proper stance from us. And Gurudev he would hear the first two sentences. I mean, this kind of thing. But you know that Gurudev, he's not happy to hear anything against the devotees. And Gurudev, he knows everything, but he knows the devotee inside. Otherwise, how are we within the devotional field? He somehow saw something tiny, like fanning the embers of the fire. And so who are we to judge others, etc.? And Gurudev's nature is so broad in that sense. The host has spotlighted your video. Oh dear. Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, I'm really happy you brought up this topic because I've wanted to ask somebody for a long time. Not a long time, but I see more and more devotees going towards untruth. Like,
towards what?
Untruth.
Untruth.
Like, untruth, like severe untruth, crazy conspiracies. And I have difficulty dealing with them.
Well, dealing with, the thing is, some of them, I don't know, they're very convinced. And so it's almost like, I'm not going to try to unconvince them, say, oh, it's not, because maybe it is. Who knows what's going on? It's all in the hands of Maya. But it's the attitude to it all. So if I really am not trying to unconvince somebody what they're thinking about in that sense, but rather getting them to see maybe or maybe not, but that's not our matter. And so from that point of view, but if they're very stuck on it, okay, they're stuck on it. What can we do? Again, we cannot change the environment. We try to do our best, but there are many devotees who are affected by it. They don't want to be caught by it, but they're reading this, reading that, hearing from this person, and then somebody's advising them, do this, do that, and you can say paranoia is coming in of the material world. And so, whatever will be, Guru Maharaj saying very famously, World War III. I'm not sure he actually said World War III, let it be, but Goswami Maharaj did put that subtitle in the book, World War III, let it be. But Guru Maharaj is saying, wars will come. War after war after war will come. These things are all going on. This is where we live. But that's not our matter. The whole world may burn. Don't waste any time to try to put it out. I think we read on our Back to Basics maybe, but certainly we read recently where Guru Maharaj is exactly saying these things and saying how, oh, are you going to go to put out a fire? No, don't waste your time to go and put out the fire. If the whole world burns, that may also be good for you, that this mundane conception burnt away, but much more difficult to burn away our ego inside. So, Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, they've given us the way to proceed, but we have to remind ourselves about it and not to get involved with their theories. And also, where do they get their theories from? It's coming from somebody else. It is the Lagu world, and we can't think we're not affected by it. You see all the Coca-Cola adverts, you want Coca-Cola. So Pepsi is competing. They were going to put up lots of adverts. So, oh no, let's have a Pepsi instead of a Coca-Cola. So, all these things are going on in the world. So, but how to deal with it? We want to do the best for others, but some almost like they need to be quarantined. Sometimes it seems to be. But at least if we know that somebody has got that virus, I'm not talking about the virus, but got that kind of virus of wanting to express, I'm not just talking about the virus conspiracies, but there are lots of things which before that go on in the world. Then we just want to keep away from those discussions. Discussions of mundane things, all kinds of speculation. and can be very convinced about something, but then somebody else can come and convince you something different in the material world. And what is the benefit? This afternoon we can die. Then what will any of that do? Our head is going to be there. That's what we're cultivating. I'm not sure what body we get for that, but let our head try to be in Krishna consciousness. Yesterday, I mean, I don't go out in the car very much because we've been here. I've been in quarantine because of the legal requirement coming into Italy. But yesterday we went out in the car, and really, I just understood that any second anything can happen on these roads. So it's our concern is, okay, we see the outside world, we rely on the Lord's protection for everything, but we can't pray to the Lord all the time. I'm not going to be killed. I won't be leaving my body. No, we just want to be ready. Yes, I'm ready. We need to pray to him for his shelter, not body shelter, but internal shelter. Like in New Zealand, when we were there, we heard about in the South Island of New Zealand, some very rich persons, I don't know, again, I don't want to name exactly who they were, but some of the richest people in the world, they bought whole valleys in the mountains in the South Island of New Zealand. Why? Because they think, if or when there is a nuclear war, whatever they're thinking, then it's the least likely place to be contaminated with nuclear this. And at the same time, they're building bunkers in those valleys in the safest place in the world, trying to protect themselves. So, this searching for protection from death is not going to happen that way. We are looking for the eternal life, getting out of the bodily concept and knowing that the body is going to disappear. How it disappears, maybe very fast, maybe very slow. And however it happens for any of us, or whichever way it happens for us, we have to take that also as the Lord's mercy. Fast means fast. See, Gurudev, actually, there's some devotees couldn't quite understand this, but Gurudev said even about an aeroplane, like an aeroplane, if the aeroplane explodes in the sky, he said, oh, a good way to go. He's not saying, oh, this is, the best way to go. But how did he describe it? We're there when he's talking about it. He's saying, you're sitting there in your seat, and then next moment, no consciousness. But when you come back to consciousness, you start thinking, oh, where's my body? Where's my body? And body isn't even around. You've got nothing to, you don't even have your body anymore. Suddenly you don't have your body. Okay. So this life, when we are now, this is our time when we're making our bond to our actual guardians forever. The bond to the Vaishnavas and the specific Vaishnavas of our Guru and our Guru's family. And this way, then, oh, I don't have my body, but I've got my shelter. It's not that I'm hopeless. Okay, so now what's my service? My service has changed. I don't have my body. I was going somewhere. Hopefully it was for service. Now my service has changed. So where are my guardians, please? What is my service? And continuing our life in the upward direction. So how to deal with it though? We must say with compassion, with understanding, to understand they're influenced by so many things, and then trying to influence others when they're convinced of something. But it may all be true. Somebody's theories may be true, but it's not our position to try to think about those things, and it's not their position either. Rather, our position, having come in connection with the spiritual line, is to follow Rupa Goswami's instruction, Mahaprabhu's instruction through Rupa Goswami in the Upadeshamritam. Avoid all of those topics. Keep our head in what Guru Maharaj and Gurudev has said. keep those topics, and also not to misuse those things, to take all of that in the proper concept too. We also know a devotee very enthusiastically preaching about not spaceships, UFOs, unidentified flying objects, and then trying to use Guru Maharaj's words in support of them, which Guru Maharaj is not saying they exist or don't exist, but at that time, I don't know now, I don't read the papers, but you can say in the 80s, then there were this common thing about UFOs. They suddenly appear, but then somebody tries to see it and then it disappears. And so Guru Maharaj is using that kind of topical example that's in the news about Krishna. But that doesn't mean he's telling of the UFOs. So we have to also take everything in context. But always we must come back to the shelter and the words, the teachings, the practices that are taught by Guru Maharaj and Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda. And it is a crazy world. Not just crazy today, it's been crazy all the time. Well, it's been crazy ever since Krishna left. That's when Kali Yuga started. And Srimad Bhagavatam, and then where is Krishna? Where is the religion? And after that, it's personified in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his pastimes have come to make all of that accessible to us. Mahaprabhu giving the highest thing to the lowest persons. Anyway, I don't know we have to address this to the devotees who are influenced, not necessarily preaching it, but some really are very disturbed. And we have to take shelter of Krishna, not of our own, we're going to make a war against, I don't mean a war, but, an opposition. We're going to battle against the false propaganda that actually what's happening is this, that, and the other. It may be happening, but you're not going to stop it. And it's going to happen. Kali Yuga is going to happen by action and reaction. And whatever happened to Tatenu Kampatam, the Guru Maharaj's so often quoted shloka, telling us about how we must adjust to the environment and see every wave is favorable. But again, we have to see from the angle of the devotees who are affected. And if we can encourage them, don't read any more about anything except Krishna Katha. If we can encourage them to do that, but sometimes they're so hooked on that conception that seems outrageous and neglectful of the thing. We should do something. Hare Krishna. Yes, we should do something. We should read Harikatha. Hear Harikatha. Be with Harijan, Hari's people. You see, even that word became, politicized and mundanized because Harijans in India, I don't know how much you read. Well, I hope you don't read any books which aren't Krishna conscious, but still, Gandhi, he's then using this term for the lowest people, the people in, the tribal people, you could say, not the lowest people, the more primitive persons. The tribal people are primitive. Let's face it, let's, say what it is. And so tribal people are primitive. So then he's starting to say the Harijans, but with the conception that they're all Hari's people, but everybody's a Harijan. Or we want to be a Harijan. We want to be. We are covered people of God. Now we are maybe, I don't know what the word would be, Mayajans. Persons in Maya. Persons of Maya. Hare Krishna. Oh dear. Godas. Servant of the senses. There you are. There's There's a Srila Prabhupada answer. Yes. Godas, simply servants of their senses. Fools and rascals, servants of the senses. As we said, say it as it is. Okay, here's me chatting away, but we've got all of you good devotees there who were innocently chatting away about yogurt and milk, all the things that Krishna likes, cooking recipes, Hare Krishna. And talking of New Zealand, then here we are in New Zealand, Ananta Krishna Prabhu. Where are the other Jai Gauranga Prabhu? Are you there behind the camera or somewhere?
Dandavats Maharaj.
Dandavats Maharaj.
Present.
Frozen.
Overflow. Krishna, Krishna.
You're back.
Oh, you're moving. You're all moving again.
Yeah.
Am I moving? Sorry, it told me my internet was poor. Have some sympathy for my internet. It's very poor. But is Anandavardhan Prabhu there? I called him overflowing happiness, which is what Anandavardhan is.
Yeah. Maharaj, he's not here. He gives his apologies. He's very what's the word? Thursday seems to be too heavy for him after his days at Food for Life, so he needs to be able to catch up on.
Oh, okay, Prabhu.
He's not making
Prabhu,
excuses. I'm saying this from him to me.
Prabhu, no problem. Please let him know we're remembering him and
Yeah, thank you.
happily feeling his presence also.
Yeah.
And by the way, Anandavardhan Prabhu is a very hard servitor. I have been
He
there.
certainly is.
We have seen, and he's not a young man, but he's serving with more energy than the youngsters, you can say.
Yes, he does.
Sorry, youngsters, they're accepted. Jai Gauranga Prabhu.
Yes, he's very busy.
All right. And to all of you, many faces, Divya Shakti, I don't see her face, but Divya Shakti is there, and also from Australia, Kelly, and probably means Kelly and Abhinav are there.
Dandavats Maharaj.
Dandavat Divya and Ramananda, Prema Sundari Revirasi, Dayavati. And we know about the Kala Kirkman, we mentioned him at the beginning, Kala Chan Prabhu. Jivana, who's with you, Jivana? Can't hear you. You have to press the button.
Yeah, I don't have anybody with me today. I just had the bird.
Okay. It looked like you just have a bird.
I had the bird was with us for a little while.
Oh, okay. I'll hear about the bird another time. I thought I saw somebody's shoulder on the corner of the screen, but obviously not. No problem. I thought someone was with you. And Chinmoy Devu, keep up the good savor with those videos. We watch them, we hear them. This is food for us, as well as of course, all the other Harikatha, but they're very valuable for devotees and new devotees. Also, we forget, I mean, we don't forget Guru, but we forget that, the newcomers, they maybe don't know so much of, or haven't seen so much of Gurudev's, like mannerisms, his sweetness that comes through. When we hear video or hear talk is wonderful, but when we see, then we also see, another aspect of Gurudev's presentation. So please keep up that good savor. Govinda, Govinda. And Shakira from South Africa, same time zone as here. So well done you for getting up early in the morning. And if you want to join a very early morning, Shakira, the bhajans and the readings in Thailand, on Instagram, you can search Sri Gupta Sri _Gupta _Govardhan. And so our 2 a.m. approximately, they begin their bhajans, and then the trouble is, and I have to mention it to them, then when they finish their bhajans, they finish the recording and then it gets posted, but then there's a bit of a gap because then they start reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's 2 separate recordings, but it's a sweet way to start the day, especially kind of the live thing has that extra, this is happening now. And they talk to the camera. Don't
Raj,
they,
this,
Kalachan Prabhu? Huh?
they do. I think they have to do this 2-part thing because Instagram has a 1-hour cap on the recordings.
Okay, but I have a suggestion. That is that you do the bhajans and then immediately start Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then you can have 15 minutes of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then devotees are already listening. They haven't gone off. They're listening. And then say, now, because of Instagram, we can only do an hour recording, but we're going to continue reading. So please, rejoin us in a minute, and we'll continue from where we left off here. This way, they're there. Otherwise, you see that you lose the people, including me, because
You do like 45 minutes of bhajans and then 15 minutes of Chaitanya Charitamrita, so we keep them more together.
You're not doing 45 minutes of bhajans. You're doing maybe half an hour or something. So you even within the hour, but before the hour is finished, that's my suggestion. So then you do. And please, for the continuation of this, come back in a moment. We just have to stop the recording. We'll come back.
Yeah.
Because we want to hear the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But I tell you what happens, that, I know as a user, because I'm not in Chiang Mai right now, that then that stops, and then it takes a little while before, and we don't know how long it's going to be before the live starts. And then when we notice it started, we've already missed the first part. So anyway, it's my suggestion. I'll mention it to those in power, which means I think Jamuna is doing that, and Priyanana. I'll mention to them. They're doing well. They're doing well.
Maharaj, I forgot to mention that we got, I got the VCR from Australia. So now I can start doing all those videos you sent me.
Okay, and as you do them, maybe let us know, and we can post them, because they'll also be nourished, because it's their videos, and the world will be nourished. But in particular, those who've given them for digitalization, it'll be encouraging for them also to see. So wonderful, Prabhu.
And also, I'd like to mention that Govinda Nandini of Brazil is now translating them into Portuguese.
Okay, very good. And she's very capable translator, and she's thorough. She's educated, she's thorough, and she has time, I think. I don't think she's got a job at the moment because of all this virus thing. You see, favorable environment. All right. No question. Look at the time, you see, because I joined you a little bit late. So our day goes on, yours too, no doubt. And anyway, from my side, again, I think my stress for today is the second verse of Upadeshamritam. And especially not to talk mundane topics, not to mix with the mundane people. And mixing with mundane people means mixing with all their conceptions and all the things they posted. One time when I went out of India to get a visa, and I got good visa by Gurudev's grace, but I went to Hong Kong. That time it was a British colony, and they were favorable there for giving visas. They said, no, that's why I went. So I was there for a short while. But when I was there, I met authors, the devotees who were living there. And Ananda, I know. His Anakudundabi, it's a little bit of a tricky name. Anakudundabi Prabhu, which actually is a nice name when you get Anakudundabi. Okay, but anyway, yeah, Anakudundabi Prabhu. He mixed with the society, like authors and like good people, artists and good people there. I met authors. So I'm meeting people who write books. And some of them were, what books do you write? And they're saying what they write. And I can tell you that really, some of those people, you don't even want to have a conversation with them for more than like 2 minutes. What to speak of read their books. So, I mean, honestly, what people read today, seeing it in black and white, and think, oh, this is very authoritative. Who even is the author of it? Let's go to the beginning. And so if you want a good author, I can recommend Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I can recommend Srila Govinda Maharaj. I can recommend Srila Prabhupada. There, let's read some books from those who will be very happy, not just to have a 5-minute conversation or a 10-minute conversation, who will be happy to be with for every moment of our lives. Let us read from those authors. These are my final words for today. But thank you all for coming together and actually being together, because that's really the value of everything, is we need each other's togetherness, association. All right. Please don't take my offenses. Please do chant Hare Krishna. Please be happy. And do the 6 positive things. They're in the next verse of Upadeshamritam. You can revise Upadeshamritam. First verse, 6 senses to control. Second verse, 6 things which will destroy your service. Next verse, 6 things which will ensure success in your service. The next verse, 6 ways of associating lovingly with devotees. Next verse, 3 ways of giving respect to the devotees. Next verse, the 2 things about the devotees. Don't see their faults. Don't, even the mud and foam, don't see their faults. Do understand that the devotees are all purifying. And then step by step. But this is really, it is not just something to memorize or to think, oh yes, this is all good advice. It's for us to do. And as one verse, that verse, Chinadapi Sunichana, so simple apparently. Oh yes, it's very easy, good advice. But as Gurudev says about that one verse, very difficult to do, a lifetime's practice, Gurudev's own words. So all of these things may seem, yes, very straightforward, but each of them, it's a lifetime's practice. So let us not think that we don't have to do that and, oh, we won't be affected if we don't do those. Hare Krishna. I would rather chat than preach when I feel I've been preaching too much. Sorry about that.
It's beautiful, Maharaj. So grateful.
All right. Jai, our wonderful Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai, our wonderful Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai, our wonderful Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. And Jai, our grand Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Sriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Shad Goswami ki Jai. All of these great masters who want us to have our head in the right place and have our heart in the right place, giving us best opportunity. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, and Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki Jai, all the assembled devotees ki Jai, and all the unlimited tens of millions, Ananta Koti, Vaishnavas ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. So please have one successful Seva days until we meet again very soon. Dandavad, Dandavad.
Chinmoy, is there a link
There is a link, but now you're gone. Oh, there he is. A link for what in particular?
Maharaj mentioned the videos that you do with Govinda Maharaj on Fridays, or what he was saying. Is there a link for this?
Yeah.
Do you post them after or live during live or?
Yeah, I do them live, but I put them on Facebook, or I mean on YouTube as well. That's it.
That's it. That's for the live one also, or for the?
No, the
recording?
Facebook, the one I do live, that's every Saturday night at 7:30 our time. And that's on Bhakti Connect Facebook, the Seva Ashram Facebook page, and another Facebook page.
Okay, excellent.
So please copy that before you leave before the chat, the Zoom closes. Otherwise, this link disappears. I'm also copying it. Thank you.
Not all the
Kalachandra.
ones on the YouTube channel have subtitles, but we're working on that, getting all the subtitles up there. But the Facebook live streams, they all have subtitles.
Fantastic. Okay, that was it.
All right.
Oh, Jai, Srila Bhakti Maharaj Sundar Maharaj Ki Jai.
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 Thank you.
Jai.